Welcome back. Listen, I actually had to take some time after I just finished watching the six triple eight. I had to take some time for a second because I was crying. I wasn't like boo hooing, but I was crying because this movie, it's I don't even know where to start. But can we please give a round of applause for Tyler Perry? People can talk all they want to about that man, but you got to give it to him. He is a genius when it comes to this kind of stuff. I This was actually my first time hearing about it. I had heard about him making the movie, and that's when I found out about the six triple eight. Because when it comes to a lot of history concerning Black Americans, there's just so much. You really have to do your own research, right? And so I said, let me go ahead and check this out. And I love it. I feel like it should have been in theaters. But I think we're just slowly, more stuff is coming out on streaming in theaters, right? I feel like Kerry Washington should at least, if she doesn't win it, she at least should at least be nominated for an Oscar for this. She did amazing. Okay? And she's one of these actresses to me that can get kind of typecast with things. But I would definitely say this definitely, in my opinion, shot her into Oscar territory. At least to be nominated for one. So the story of the six triple eight, these Black American, of course back then they were called Negro American or Negro women troops, were sent overseas, and they had to organize and send mail out. 17 million pieces. They were given 6 months, right? They did it in 90 days. You know how when they have historical piece movies, they give you the facts and stuff at the end? When I read that, I started crying because it's like they did all that even with obstacles, whether it was the mail being torn, the mail being molded, rats eating through the mail, and obstacles that were being put in their way on purpose because they were pretty much put there to fail. The thought that, and I'm gonna say use the word Negro probably for the remainder of this review because that's the time where we were in the movie. So they were put in that place because to basically prove that Negroes cannot or are not qualified to do the same thing as white people, right? And Miss Adams, Captain Adams, she had so much thrown at her, and the way that she stood up for them at that time in the 40s in the South, when you as a black person did not do that, that was something you did not do, was talk back to a white person. And I'm assuming it was, especially in something like the military, something very structured like that. The part where the man came in and he was doing his little inspection and she was explaining to him, we are on a 24-hour shift. So we have girls that work at night. We have girls that work during the day. It's the daytime. The girls are asleep. She would not let him go in that shower where the girls were showering. She would not let him go into their bunks because she said that's the night shift, they are asleep. The fact that she protected them, even if it meant her being court-martialed, even if it meant something happening to her, she did it. And when I was watching the real footage of Miss Adams, I could tell that she was probably exactly like how Kerry Washington portrayed her. I could just see that in her face. Something that she said was very true. She said, as a Negro, you can't be average. You have to be better than them just to be compared to the average white person. And that's definitely true. Some can argue that that's true now. This amazing part, you have to think about it. Back then, of course, we know. I don't even have to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. there was no email. There wasn't that either, right? Um, no internet, no, the technology was not at a point where you could, everything was literally hands on. And the fact that they were able to get that out, or at least the bulk of it out in half the time, yeah, half the time that they were given, along with obstacles, the place they were in didn't have any heat. I mean, it's just, it frustrates you to watch it because you know that they were put in that position to prove a point to America that Negroes are not equipped to do these certain tasks other than being a maid, working in the field, washing after people, stuff like that, right? And the fact that these women, I can't say they're just now getting their accolades, but I'm pretty sure maybe in the last 20 years or so, but this was 80 years ago. We're talking about 1945. Most of these people are deceased. The main character, she's alive. She's still living. But she went in when she was 18 years old. So you think about the women that were in their late 20s, the women that were in their 30s, they are gone. You know, they're not with us anymore. Anyone that was served in World War I that's still living, that means they went in straight out of high school, 17, 18, 19. Because that's 80 years ago. You had 18. You see what I'm saying? That's 98. That's almost 100. So it's like most of our troops that served in World War II are gone. So it is kind of bittersweet to see them getting the accolades they deserve now. And as the main character was stating, she was reading a letter that she wrote. She said, we got more respect over in Europe than when we came home. And a lot of black soldiers have talked about that, whether they served in World War I, II, Korea, Vietnam. They have said, it's like, I go over there, I'm cool, I come over here and I'm back to, you know, after risking my life, you know. I just, while there was maybe a little bit small moments where I was Googling some stuff, but I really wanted to pay attention to the movie. So I'm definitely going to do some more research on the 6888 and also World War II. I also want to talk about briefly World War II. World War II was a war that there was so many things that started then that we still do now. Like, you know, they were rationing things. I read a story, not sure if it's true, but I read somewhere that they were saying that women actually didn't shave before World War II, but the reason why they started shaving is because a lot of the men were off to war and razor companies were losing money, so they started to target women saying, you need to, you know, shave your legs, blah, blah, blah. Also, the candies, the M&M candies, I believe this was World War II as well. They were made because, you know, there used to be a saying on M&Ms, melt in your mouth, not in your hands, and so they coated the chocolate so soldiers can carry it with them without it melting in their pocket. That's what I read as well. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but just some little things that war really changed a lot in America. Like I said, M&M's is still eaten till this day. Women should still shave their legs till this day, right? Oprah played a small part. She played Mary McLeod Bethune, who is also someone, believe it or not, I didn't hear about until Tyler Perry mentioned her on a Madea play. So Tyler Perry is really good at throwing in a lot of history in there in his plays and movies. I know he gets a lot of flack for, oh, the wigs are cheap and the storylines, blah, blah, blah. But you got to give the man credit when it's due, right? At this time, President Roosevelt was in office. He did end up dying while World War II was still going on. and Susan Sarandon portrayed Miss Roosevelt, who was actually an activist. She was really into that. She spoke and everything. And so I did like the fact that they had that, the president in there, his wife, because like I said, she was involved in activism and things like that. Also, while you're watching this, and I've said this so many times on my videos, based on a true story does not mean that every single thing that happened in the movie happened in real life. Now, the part where the main character, she was seeing this Jewish boy and he went off to war, he died with a letter in his pocket, and then after them sifting through the mail trying to send it out, they found it and showed it to her. I don't know if that happened for real or not. That sounds far-fetched. That may have been just for the movie, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I know a lot of times people will watch this movie and think that every single thing that was said and done in the movie happened in real life. That's not always true. The scene where the two soldiers went over that explosive and she told them to get out the back, and she told the other girl, look, we're going to slowly get out, but I guess the bomb sets off if you move any kind of way off of it. And the fact that the military was not going to bury them. Like, this is the type of stuff, it's like oppressed people try so much to prove that they are just as good, and that part really, it hurt, you know, but I wasn't surprised when they said it. And they had to take up donations to bury these two women. You know what I'm saying? So this is a great history lesson. I really feel like if you have children that are old enough to understand what they're watching, please have them watch this movie. And black, white, Hispanic, Japanese, whatever. Because watching this movie, it's a good motivator. Like, these women had so many odds packed up against them, and they did the impossible in half the time that they were given. And this is without the technology that we have today, where you can electronically find stuff at the drop of a hat, the click of a mouse. Yes. Let your children see this. Talk to them about it. I'm going to actually, when I get done with this video, get off here and do some more research on the 6888. I will be honest, I was leery about watching it because being a black American, it's hard to watch that kind of stuff because it's like, damn, you know? Like, just to see people that resemble you just trying to make it and literally having things stacked up against them, and to know that this was real everyday life for them. So yeah, man, it was heavy and light at the same time. Okay, like when I cried, most of the time it was tears of joy and tears of pride for these women. I was so proud of them that they did what they had to do, man. But like I said, the bittersweet thing is that they didn't get the recognition 80 years ago when they did it. And they're getting it now, and most of them are gone. Most of them are not with us anymore. So there it is, man. The 6888 on Netflix. Let's have this discussion. Drop down in the comments if you've seen this movie, and let's talk about it. Let me know what's on your mind. Shout out to my 92 subscribers. Shout out to the rest of you as well who are not subscribed, but you know you can by hitting that button for me, all right? Peace and blessings to you all. Until next time.